I need my GMs to help me with this here. For the love of all things holy, what is going on with Haason Reddick? He has requested a trade from the Jets. He's been in the building a combined total of once. They traded for him. He's never been there. He's now requested a trade. He's getting fined like $1 trillion. What, Kmart, is going on?
You're asking me? I don't know. In all seriousness, because it's exactly where we were last week, which is from report day. I was out there at Jets. The Jets said, if you're not here, we are not negotiating with somebody who's not in the building. We are not. You have to come in here, honor the contract, honor the agreement that we had, which is you will be here for every offseason practice and training camp as we work through getting to a new contract.
Well, so yesterday, Aaron Rodgers had to address a distraction someone else created, which was a new one. And here were his thoughts and the coach's thoughts about the Reddick thing.
Obviously, we'd love for him to be here, but, we don't judge him for trying to do what's best for him. I think what's best for him is to be a Jet because this is going to be a fun ride. But, he's got to make the best decision for him and his family.
How do you avoid this being a distraction?
It's not. I promise you it's not.
Okay, well, he promised us it's not. Well,
you know what?
Yeah.
You know what, though? Seriously, like, when you're on the field and you're playing and you're practicing, you're not sitting there going, man, I just busted that assignment because Haason Reddick hasn't signed his contract.
Exactly.
I get that.
You're not. But, yeah, it's a pain in the rear end to constantly be talking about this thing when you feel like now that we're on the field and we're playing football, all the distractions are behind us because no one's making off-field noise or doing anything with retreats or anything, skipping mandatory mini camps or nothing like that. You think it's all behind you. And then here this comes. So it is, look, Mike T can speak to this as far as, like, what do they need to do as far as, like, do they need to just get face-to-face and say, hey, look, we know you wanted a deal. We know that's why they sent you out of Philadelphia. We were trying to get a deal done. You haven't come in, though. We don't negotiate with people who aren't in here. Now you're ticked off. Now we're answering questions. They need to just get in a room and figure this out. But you know what? That's a lot easier said than done because, look, this is a guy who's been very productive over the past 3 years.
Yeah.
We should be listening.
Very productive.
He
wants to be
T.
paid now.
We should be listening to Mike
T
because he knows the very spot you need to take a player and take agents to get something done.
What is that spot?
Mike T, go.
Right. Well, look, I would say three things. Number one, don't talk in the media. Look, it's good for us, right? It's great content, but nothing good comes out of that. Number two, meet face-to-face. And Kmart knows there was a great diner, the Roscoe Diner in upstate New York. But in all seriousness, get in a room and meet face-to-face. And then thirdly, Greeny, ask great questions if you're the club. What's important? What is it going to take? Hey, we may not be able to give you the same guaranteed money now, but maybe it's an incentive package. So those are the three things you have to do to solve the problem.
I get
Until he's in the building, there's absolutely nothing you can do.
So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing.
Wait a minute.
This is going to be interesting. Because think about this. He has been over the past 3 years. He's sixth in the NFL in sacks. Okay, and he's not 30 until September. This guy's going to want to be paid much more than what you're going to probably offer him. That's a problem.
Mike T is saying ask him questions about what it's going to take. The time to do that is before you trade a third-round pick for him.
No,
Lewis,
in fairness,
how can
Douglas,
you trade
line
for
one.
him knowing this is the situation, and now here we are in August, and you're promising me it's not
they had a
distraction.
gentleman's agreement. It seems like it just seems
that?
like it's not. No, the two
What's
sides
that?
don't agree.
A gentleman's
Just,
agreement.
hey, this is what you're gonna do.
Oh, really?
While we continue talking, Hassan's probably like, why are we talking so long? Where's my money?
Yeah, this is where it leads. Last one. Kmart, would you be shocked if the Jets trade Haason Reddick?
Would I be shocked if they trade him? I would definitely be shocked because what is happening? They traded for this guy. We all applauded the move. This is great. Jets are all in. They got the closer on defense. At this point, he's under contract, and I would speechless. Literally, if he's not on this roster.
Well, yeah. I'm not speechless. I have a lot of words I could use to describe my feelings.
It would make no sense.
Let's start by hearing the words of Aaron Rodgers and Coach Robert Saleh yesterday. They both fielded questions about it.
Obviously, we'd love for him to be here, but, we don't judge him for trying to do what's best for him. I think what's best for him is to be a Jet because this is going to be a fun ride. But, he's got to make the best decision for him and his family.
How do you avoid this being a distraction?
It's not. I promise you it's not.
Okay, So, Mike T, I mean, I need someone to help me with this. The Jets, for those who didn't follow this, developed an undrafted rookie, once upon a time an undrafted rookie named Bryce Huff, turned him into a great player. He was a sack, one of the highest sack rates in the whole league last year, all that kind of stuff, homegrown. They choose to let him walk to Philadelphia and instead trade the Eagles a third-round pick to get Haason Reddick, who is a terrific player, but everyone on planet Earth, including the Eagles and Jets, knew he wanted a new contract. And so now here we find ourselves in August, and Haason Reddick is not showing up and demanding a trade. That's what has happened here. Someone tell me why the Jet fans should not be enraged with the way this thing has gone.
Well, let's be fair. The Jets here, he did show up, and usually when a player shows up within 24 hours, that makes the trade official, and you assume you're going to be able to work things out. I'm sure those were conversations they had. Now, look, the fact that he hasn't been here, I completely agree with what Joe Douglas said publicly. Like, we will not do anything until you're in the building. The most important thing they could do right now is get face-to-face. We went through that very noteworthy holdout with Darrelle Revis, and it was hard, and there were some days that looked dire, but we kept meeting in person, and we
We've lost Mike T. Lewis, let me come to you. The problem with this is that there were no relationships involved at all. When he says that Haason Reddick showed up in the building, that is literally, I mean, to use the very literal expression, it is true, he showed up once. He came, he took a physical, he left, and he's never been back. The people that we're talking about, most of them have never met him. I have no reason to believe that Aaron Rodgers and Haason Reddick have ever been in the same room at the same time. So, I mean, there are no relationships involved here. This is just a disaster. I don't even know other way to put it. They go out and they get this guy, and he's getting fined $1 trillion at this point. I don't know what is in his best interest. I don't know what advice he thinks he's getting.
Breathe, Greeny, breathe.
I just don't know what to make of this.
I'm with you. Look, I mean, we saw the thing go across the bottom of that graphic there. Was saying Rich Cimini said that the Jets made an offer and Haason thought it was below market value. That's what's interesting to me here. Like, as we cut through all of the BS surrounding this whole thing, as far as why didn't Joe Douglas have a deal in place? What's Haason Reddick doing? How can he ask for another trade here after just being traded from Philly? Like, to me, it's like, why are two teams now having trouble establishing market value for this player, a guy who over the past 3 years is 6th in the NFL in total sacks? Why didn't Philadelphia value him more? And why are the Jets now, according to Rich Cimini, offering a contract that Haason feels is below market value? What is it with the two teams when they evaluate this player that they feel as though he's not worth not top of the market, but higher market value? Why is that?
Can I give you what I think the answer to that question is? The Eagles had to pay their 2 wide receivers. They had to pay their quarterback. The Jets have a bunch of huge contracts coming up that they're going to have to pay. Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, all these guys. And so they're not prioritizing paying that guy, which is why if you know he needs a new deal, you don't trade for him and decide you're going to build your defense around him being your closer.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Especially if you feel as though he's not going to show up. Considering the fact that he said, look, I want out of Philadelphia because they weren't going to pay me market value. Yeah, I guess in the end you could dump this back on Joe Douglas for misplaying the market, for not really having a good feel for whether or not he felt he would be able to get him to a long-term contract. Knowing what you just said, knowing I have other people to pay, he's not going to be the focal point of where the money is going to be allocated, so he may cause some problems. He probably should have had some more foresight when it comes to that.
The Jets
In fairness to the Jets and Joe Douglas in particular, Haason Reddick did a press conference. Like, he did speak.
Right.
He said, I'm happy to be here, ready to rock with Aaron. Like, that happened.
Right.
And then suddenly it was, oh, no, I don't want to be there. No, I'm out. Like, from their point of view, it's, you were in the building. What changed?
Yeah, there's a communication gap,
yes.
Obviously. He thought, okay, look, they understand where I'm at as far as what my demands are. Guaranteed money average per year, where I want to rank as far as the top paid edge rushers in the NFL. The Jets obviously see this a lot. Somewhere in between there, someone wasn't telling somebody what this was going to take. Somebody, misplayed the market here. Somebody did not communicate. I don't want to say not in good faith, but somebody didn't communicate the real deal here.
Right.
And now this has turned into an embarrassing
And it is a distraction. I'm sorry. I disagree with Robert Saleh. It is a distraction. Maybe not in their building, but because we are talking about it. Because you are the Jets. And every time people go back to same old Jets, look, they can't get anything right. That's part of the DNA of this franchise now.
But I don't think the players.
I'm saying in the building, the players aren't thinking.
They need the player. I don't care if it's a distraction. They need the player. Mike,
that's true.
Final thought.
Yeah. Go and meet with Haason Reddick's agent. Whatever happened in the past, it doesn't matter. Get in a room and solve the problem and come up with a deal that neither side's going to love, like we did with Darrelle Revis. Maybe it's incentives that are hard to achieve, but you would be happy to pay. But this is a consequential year, Greedy, as you say every day for the Jets. He can help them win. And look, I made a mistake with Darrelle Revis. He came in late. He eventually got hurt, as you like to remind me. Get Reddick in camp. Get him ready to play the 49ers. That'll give him the best chance to win.
That's great perspective.
Yeah.
You know, get it done. Get it done.
Well, yeah, get it done like 4 weeks ago. That would have been a delight. And now we'll see what happens. Coming up.